Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank for the invitation to participate in this discussion. This is a great honor, and I'm really happy to see such a young audience here. I'm not an expert on the work of the European Council. I have experience being a chair of the committee in the Parliament of the European Union. I have experience of working with the Council. So everyday work with the Council is different from the agenda of the Council, it seems like. Because during this period, which is mentioned in the study, we had a number of trialogues focused on some legislative proposals, which is related to the regional policy or cohesion policy of the European Union. To begin with the small limited information about this cohesion policy, which is in the bottom of the agenda of the Council, even out of the agenda. The regional policy actually is supported by 1/3 of the budget of European Union. More than 350 billion euros are dedicated to support the development of the regions around the European Union, to support the interregional connections, cross-border connections, and development of some more 11 targets mentioned for the period 2014-2020. So we have 350 billion budget for a 7-year period, and no one discussion in the Council focused on this. This is the first one. Secondly, I have to say that in the programs for 2014-2020, we expected to provide support to 1.1 million small and medium-sized enterprises, which is the core of potential of competitiveness of the European economy. And this is the role, again, of the cohesion policy, which supports these small and medium-sized enterprises. This is linked to creation of 420,000 new jobs in the small and medium-sized enterprises, and it will help more than 7.4 million unemployed people to find a job. More than 8.9 million people will gain a new qualification through the support from the cohesion policy. Of course, this support concerns also infrastructure, water infrastructure, roads, railways, educational infrastructure, cultural infrastructure. All these investments around Europe are supported by the cohesion or regional policy of the European Union. So that's why it is mentioned strongly in the treaty. That's why we usually mention that this is in the core of the whole European project and all the set of values of European solidarity. It is, I think it is a coincidence that we have this meeting today. Yesterday, we opened the every year meeting of European regions and cities here in Brussels. We have a week of European regions and cities. And yesterday, we had an open ceremony together with the Committee of the Regions and the Parliament here in the hemicycle of the Parliament. And the topic, the main topic of our discussion was the future of Europe through the point of view of cohesion policy, how we see the future of cohesion policy in the future of Europe. We continued today with the exchange of views on the 7th Cohesion Report, which covers almost the same period which is covered by the study we discussed today, in which there are a lot of data concerning some very successful projects and some problems around Europe. But this is about the cohesion policy. I just wanted to give you this information to know what we are talking about. We are not talking about something small. We are talking about something which involves actively all the regional authorities, all the stakeholders around Europe, beginning from education, research centers, universities, cultural centers, theaters, all the cultural institutions, and of course the main part is on the responsibility of the member states, because something specific for the cohesion policy is that cohesion policy is shared managed, shared responsibility between the European Commission and member states. And that's why I was surprised when I looked at the study and saw that the regional policy is in the bottom of the list of the topics, the Council, and I think that this is a missed opportunity, because my message will be, if we talk about the migrants, if we discuss the problems with integration of the migrants, education of the migrants, preparation for the trade market, how we can afford this. One of the options is to use the resources from the cohesion policy of the European Union. This is one of the solutions. Discussing so much the problems, it seems like the Council missed the opportunity to discuss the solutions. The same with the defense of the borders of the European Union. Discussing the problems of defense, the Council missed the opportunity to discuss one of possible solutions, because one of the solutions is to use the same structural funds, these 350 billions, which are negotiated with the member states and which are not used for these challenges which are faced by the Union at the moment. And I'll give you one example, which is not the most beautiful one, but this is the reality. If you remember, last year we had a real tragedy in Italy, earthquake, a series of earthquakes in Italy, with a lot of urgent people and a lot of damaged infrastructural constructions. So the European Commission proposed the change in the regulation so the member states could use part of the structural funds, which are available for each one of the member states, to use them to recover regions which had been hurt by the natural disasters. This was the proposal. It took us in the Parliament, together with the Council, 8 months to change the regulation. What is unbelievable, during these 8 months, we couldn't say anything to the European citizens hurt by the natural disasters. We have natural disasters everywhere. We have floods, we have fires in Portugal, in Spain. We have earthquakes in Greece, in Italy, in my country, in Bulgaria as well. We have floods in Germany. We have floods in Poland. We have other natural disasters. And we spent so much time to find the final solution and to allow to member states to use these money which are available. They are on the table. They are negotiated. They are in a budget of these for each one of the member states. So that's why I say that not to discuss the regional policy, it's mean to miss the opportunity to find the solution for some of the problems. because the regional policy has the potential to be a solution for many and many problems around Europe. It could be a solution for the problems with the education and professional training. For some of the member states, we have a pretty high level of unemployment, but in the same time, we have a lack of qualified labor force, because we need a qualified labor force. I'll give again the example with my country. It is more simple because I do not touch another country, but I can free use the examples from my country. We need investments. We need them, but we do not receive investments because we cannot offer to the investors qualified labor force. We have to change, to reform the educational system. One of the opportunities is to reform this system through the cohesion policy with the support from the European Union, because these are two sides of the policy of the Union. Reforms, and we have the instrument to support these reforms. We have these structural funds. We can use them. The other example, cultural infrastructure, cultural heritage, tourist infrastructure related to the cultural heritage, which creates a lot of jobs around Europe, particularly in the south part of Europe. We can use these structural funds. We use structural funds for the environmental issues. We can use the structural funds for the water supply, for the drinking water supply, for the water treatment. And we do this. But I really believe that we need the support from the Council, because we, yesterday, together with the Committee of the Regions and members of Regi Committee in the Parliament, and many umbrella organizations of the regions around Europe, we supported one initiative, Cohesion Alliance. We try to find friends of the cohesion policy and develop and modernize it, and continue with the support for the regions and member states. But in this effort, we need the support from the European Council, because this is the support from the co-legislator, this is the support from one of the very important, powerful structures of the system of the European Union. And that's why we need to see the regional policy in the agenda of the Council of European Union. So I'll stop here, and I'm ready to answer some questions, because when there is a discussion about the cohesion policy, I can talk a lot, but this is not the purpose. The purpose is to exchange some views and see where we are. Thank you very much.